Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on what I know will be another great episode. I'm your host, Chase Chewning, and this is EverForward Radio. Hey, what is going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me on another episode here on EverForward Radio. I appreciate your continued support and feedback. And I gotta say, the first 2 weeks of this podcast have incredibly surpassed any and all expectations I had for this project. Just a quick update. In the first day of launching, the first about 12 to 16 hours of launching episode 1, we peaked at number 13 on the charts, guys. So I have this podcast listed under the health/self-help category in iTunes, and it went to about 16, bounced around to 14, and the highest we got was level 13. So I could not be more happy with the level of this success. The feedback, the support has just been beyond my expectations. I wouldn't say that I had little expectations for this, just because I felt very strongly and passionate about this project and was dumping so much of my time and effort that I just believed heavily in the long-term payoff. But I got to say thanks to you all, thanks to the support and the reviews and the feedback and the sharing. This has just escalated very quickly, and I see bigger and better things for this podcast, for this platform. So that being said, I wanted to share one of the reviews that I got from you all. This comes from Foxy DMD. The title of the review is So Excited. And Foxy writes, "So excited for this. I could listen to Chase read the phone book. His voice is so rich and soothing and unique. However, it's the content I'm most excited about. What a legacy your family has created for your father. He must have been an amazing man. I lost my grandmother and my great aunt to ALS and couldn't think of a better way to honor them than to live a life of passion and purpose and help others to do the same. Bravo." Foxy, I greatly appreciate those words. Thank you for taking the time to leave a review, to give me the 5 stars. And I can definitely relate, and my heart goes out to you and your family to not have to endure just one person in your family with the illness of ALS and the passing, but 2. I can't imagine going through that twice with 2 of my friends or loved ones. So I'm glad that this message can resonate with you and yours, and it's really, that's what it's all about. You know, it's about continuing that legacy and pushing through the pain sometimes that we have to endure through sickness, through illness, through trials, tribulations, whatever your obstacles are. I promise you that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The obstacle is the way, to reference one of my favorite authors, Ryan Holiday. This definitely is going to be a way for all of us to come together who have gone through some form of struggle or looking for ways to push through and, you know, like I always say, put that passion of purpose, find that ever forward moment to stir up something in you to provide that catalyst so that you too can push forward and find your passion, find your purpose, find what you were meant to be doing. So that review really kind of ties into what I wanted to talk about on this episode, guys. This all stemmed from, like I said in the introductory episode, from our father. The message of EverForward and what he did as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a human being, and how it just rippled down and resonated with each member of my family in its own different and unique way. And I have felt all along that, honestly, I was really, really meant to do something with that. And for a long time, I did what I could. It's been on my license plate for about 12 years now. I have a tattoo on my arm. It's in my email signatures. It's something that anyone who knows me knows what those 2 words are and how I kind of just incorporate it into my life. But up until recently, I wasn't really setting it into motion in the way that I really wanted to apply. I really wanted EverForward to be a platform, something that I could share on a much larger scale, not just me, but a way to bring other people in together. And for a while, I was doing and am continuing to do YouTube videos, whether it's through my vlogging, through workouts, through my men's style and lifestyle videos. I just find a way to really implement EverForward into everything that I do. The way that I try to live a active life, the way that I try to carry myself, the way that I try to present myself, and how I look, my demeanor, my attitude, my relationships, everything. But I really feel that through this podcast and being able to reach literally everyone, anyone who has access to iTunes. And now I'm proud to announce that I am uploading the audio-only versions to my YouTube channel. You can check that out. It's just youtube.com/Chase Chewning. Or if you just go to YouTube and type in my name, Chase Chewning, I'll pop up there. I'm on, like I said, the audio-only version on YouTube. I'm on SoundCloud. Just do a search for EverForward Radio. And all to my Google/Android fans and supporters and users, I got to say I'm currently working on Stitcher to come out soon. So I want to just get the message out in as many different ways as I can. So kind of my message for today, something that I've been thinking about since this launch, is just the power of action and how just doing the damn thing can really just be that catalyst that you need. I don't know how many people I've talked to who have had a great idea for starting a business, for helping someone out in their community, for starting a podcast, for starting a YouTube channel, for trying to have a niche market in their social media, really just finding a way to apply an idea that they had, but not actually ever following through with it. And I have to say that I am definitely someone who falls victim to that a lot. I feel that I have so many different ideas and just get excited about so many different projects and get pulled in a lot of different directions. And sometimes it works out, sometimes not so much. And it's usually because of my own lack of commitment. And this podcast venture was one thing that I was not about to let fall through the cracks again. So I've been working on this idea for months and months and months. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Instead of just putting it off or like, oh, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to record. I don't know how to upload. I don't know how to do the iTunes. I don't know how to do the interwebs. You can come up with a million different excuses as to why you cannot start something or as to why you think you will fail. But the second you limit that is the second you already begin to fail. How many people do you think that we look at as being successful today started off at that exact same level? Every professional whatever was once an amateur. Christian Guzman, my last guest, do you think he just started off with hundreds of thousands of subscribers or a lucrative athletic apparel company? No. He was in his college dorm, in his parents' house, putting the pieces together, taking that idea and just starting, doing some form of action that was putting the direction towards that end goal. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. Instead of just having a great idea and letting it slide or putting it together one piece here, one bit there, I just did my research, did my due diligence, learned every step of the process. Everything that you hear, everything that you see, minus my graphic design, which I have had some great help with, and getting that artwork up and running. If any of you have seen my logo that I have on my Instagram, that is the background, the banner, and all my SoundCloud information, please feel free to check out my guy, Luke O'Sullivan. Luke James is his Instagram handle. If you look at Luke_James_OS, he's an up-and-coming great graphic designer. He's definitely helped me out, and that's what I'm all about. That's another big reason why I love this podcast, because it enables the barter system, and that's something that I feel very passionately about. If you're good at something and I'm good at something else, hey, let's come together, let's meet in the middle, and let's help each other both succeed. But to get back to my point of doing the thing, taking action, that's literally sometimes all you need. You'll hear me in these interviews and hear me in my future discussions talking about, so what was it for this person that just really made you want to venture out and do your own thing? What was it about losing your father that just stirred this idea in you to start your own business or to venture out into whatever idea you got from that? Not all of us are always blessed or given that event in our life to grow from. Sometimes you have to seek it out on your own. And you're never going to have those opportunities if you don't try to have them available, if you don't put yourself out there. I cannot tell you how many times now that something has literally landed in my lap, whether it's an opportunity, whether it's meeting someone, talking to someone, interviewing someone, being just in a certain environment that is very, very appealing to me with very, very appealing people who have similar goals, or I can help, or they can help me, if I did not just put myself out there. It can definitely be somewhat nerve-wracking to reach out to a total stranger at one point, but after a couple conversations, share a few emails, they turn into someone that just stays in your Rolodex, so to speak. And the same thing goes for action. You never know if you're really going to be good at something or fail at something if you take that first step. You have to put yourself out there in order to gauge the interest and gauge, honestly, your ability level. Now, you can also play it safe and say that, well, if I don't take a risk, I will not fail. But you're also taking the same risk at saying, if I don't try this, I won't succeed. And that goes back to something that I've referenced a lot in some of my YouTube videos, my vlogs, is that aspect of idling, and is why over the last couple of years, I have done some of the things that I've done. It has influenced heavily some of my change in career choices, where I live, my immediate circle of friends, the type of people that I continue to seek out. And I just really had to grasp hold of, yes, you can be complacent, you can be comfortable where you are, but you're literally just idling. You are staying put. You are not growing. You are not evolving. You are not progressing. You are staying the same day in, day out. And I reached a point in my life to where I had to have a difficult conversation with myself and realize that I could do this. I could stay here in this place. I could stay here with these people. I could stay here with this job. I could stay here in this relationship and ride it out. But I know that's not really what I want to do deep down inside. I had to get out of my comfort zone, put myself in uncomfortable situations. Guys, I promise you, you are not going to grow by staying comfortable. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. An easy analogy that I make a lot is the gym. Think about all the times that you get going in your exercise routine, whether you're starting off brand new or are a 3-year gym rat veteran. You are not going to grow in your endurance, in your muscle mass size. You're not going to grow in your ability to push yourself further if you're not putting yourself in that uncomfortable position of the exercise, of tearing down your muscle fibers, of leaving a pool of sweat on the floor, of the unwanted, annoying commute to get to your gym, to schedule it into a part of your day. It is a huge discomfort that we put ourselves in to go into the gym, to put ourselves through this work, this stress. But you know what happens in the end? You are in an environment that is conducive to your goal. You are working with people alongside a trainer in a group workout, or just yourself in the zone. You are in the space that you need to be in order to grow. And I really feel that the same applies in any other venture of our life. You know what? You're not going to just jump into something knowing everything. You're not going to start on a new venture knowing every process, every step, every method in order to reach that end product. But you know how you do get there. You do the thing, you get uncomfortable, you put your inhibitions down, and you just put yourself in a position to be a student, to learn, absorb, to be that sponge, and just embrace the suck. Our bodies are an incredibly resilient entity. Every part of what we do in the gym, when we exercise at home, whatever and wherever that is a form of stress on the body, but it adapts and it overcomes. And the mind is by no means any different. In fact, it is the best piece of equipment that we have for the long run. By working out, by staying active, by eating right, by learning more, by getting out of your comfort zone, by forcing yourself to learn and do new things, you are training your brain. You are exercising that 3 to 5 pound organ that sits in the top of your head. Think about it this way. Recall one of the last times that you drove a familiar route, maybe on the way home, maybe on the way to work, and you're on a phone call. Do you really remember every step of the way, every turn, every geographical feature along that path? No, you've literally done it so many times that it is second nature to you and your brain, and you don't have to think at all in order to get from point A to point B. Now, try to do the same thing, be on that phone call, by taking a completely different route from point A to point B. Next time you're going to work, next time you're going home, hop on the phone, of course, hands-free, and go a completely different route. And see how hard it is. See how uncomfortable that is for you to experience something new, for your brain to have to go outside of its norm, to create new connections, to have a different pathway engaged to process what you're doing, where you're going, and how you feel about it. And the same thing goes to what I was referring to earlier about idling. You get set in your ways. You get set in your relationships, in your friendships, in your job, in your immediate environment, because it becomes so familiar. It is so easy to just go through day in, day out by doing the same things because it takes such minimal effort. And you are not going to grow. You're not going to embark on that next great thing by staying the same, by doing the same things, by being around the same people. And so one of the best things that worked for me was putting myself out there, getting uncomfortable, trying to reach a lot of people that honestly probably could have spent their time with more important people, with people doing bigger and better things. But you know what? Through a friend of a friend of a friend, I was able to get an interview. Through email back and forth, I was able to come up with a convenient time to share a discussion. Through an Instagram page, through a hashtag, whatever it takes, put yourself out there and find that common interest, that thing that is going to grab the attention of someone else, that is going to put you in a place where you know you can grow, that is unfamiliar to you, to put you closer towards that end goal, towards that idea. And if it's not uncomfortable, you're doing something wrong. And so what I was able to do was to go through these processes, put myself out there, have these conversations. And I got to tell you guys, I'm sure you can tell in that first interview, besides me being an idiot and not knowing how close to sit to the mic in order for me to be heard, I was very, very structured. It was my first time ever interviewing anyone for anything. And here I was talking to this guy who, for all intents and purposes, was and is, on paper, much more successful than me, who literally everything he does, every minute, every hour of his day is money to him. So why would he go out of his way? Why would he give up that hour, hour and a half for me? It's because of that commonality. It's because of that shared passion. It's because of, honestly, him being in that same headspace of giving, putting himself in an uncomfortable situation to talk to a total newbie interviewer and just allow that process to happen, because you never know what the end result's going to be. And so that is why I was so appreciative of him and everyone that I have spoken to and will continue to speak to for these interviews, for these podcasts. Now, I have learned from that. I have grown from that. And honestly, from that first episode, I know moving forward, the ones you're going to hear are much more fluid, much more relaxing. And it is because I got out of my comfort zone, learned the process of what I really wanted to do, and am now doing the thing. So guys, that's going to end my rant here. I wanted to just kind of touch base on the incredible success and gratitude that I feel for these first 2 weeks of EverForward Radio. I greatly appreciate everything that you all have done, the downloads, the subscriptions, the reviews. It does not go unnoticed. Always please remember that. As you're listening to this, I'm actually probably sitting on a beach with a little umbrella drink in my hand. I'm actually down in Mexico for a few days. I had the opportunity to go down with some of my friends, some of my groomsmen actually from the wedding last year. We're going to be down at the Hard Rock Resort in Riviera Maya, Mexico from Friday through Wednesday, February 3rd to the 8th. So by the time you're listening to this, I will be about halfway through my trip, hopefully staying sunburn free and enjoying my time down there. I've never been to Mexico. And honestly, this is my first time getting out of the country in almost 10 years. So that in and of itself is a great way, guys, to get out of your comfort zone. I cannot stress the importance and value of travel as much as possible. I cannot believe the amount of people that I talk to, like, I've never even left my state or hometown. You know what? Go explore, learn what you like, learn what you don't like, take it back home and just apply what you need to out of that. So thanks again, as always, for your support. I am so excited for the continued episodes and upcoming guests. We have some great content coming your way. Stay tuned next week when you will hear from my sit down with Nick and Preston Bear of Bear Performance Nutrition. And like I said earlier, your feedback and ratings do not go unnoticed. I read every single review. I appreciate the time and feedback that you have for me and for the channel. I promise to keep delivering great content week after week. Stay tuned. Big things coming. Thank you for joining me on another episode of EverForward Radio.